All right, let's turn our attention now more to the San Antonio Spurs. Shout out to our old co-host Sarah and our friend Jesse. I know he's been eager for this section, so let's get right into it, Mort. They have a lot of guys coming off the books this summer. DeMar DeRozan is the top name, of course. It seemed like, as of last year, DeMar DeRozan was getting the hell out of San Antonio at the first chance he could. Jabari Young of CNBC in particular, who's plugged in to DeRozan's camp, it seems, just made it clear that DeRozan was very unhappy there, did not want to be there. He reinvented himself this year and seemed to really find a groove as this point power forward.
Yeah.
So do you think it makes sense for the Spurs to re-sign DeRozan, or do you think they should go their separate ways?
So I will say this. I hate the idea less than I did a year ago because, it just seemed like that future wasn't in the card for either side. But no, he's still a tremendous scorer, even if he doesn't shoot threes. Let's just put that aside for a period of time. I don't think it's that crucial right now. He's still a tremendous scorer. He's a tremendous playmaker. He's very careful with the basketball. He gets to the free throw line a ton, where he also converts, by the way, at an 88% rate. Good on you, DeMar. That's an insane rate. So there is a very, very high floor in terms of his production. So if the Spurs buy into that, they know, what, the guy we're getting back is undoubtedly a 20-plus point scorer. He's undoubtedly a 6-plus assist type of guy. We know that overall, even if he doesn't shoot a whole lot of threes, he's going to be efficient for us. We know the baseline, So it's about getting that known quantity in and saying, we want you here. We want at the same time to develop Dejounte, Derek White, Keldon, Jakob Poeltl, Lonnie Walker, those guys, Devin Vassell as well. But so the question I have here is, can you agree with DeRozan to an extent where he understands what he's getting on board with? That's the key issue for me, because after all, he is going to be 32 this year. I believe he's born in 89, right? Yes. So he's going to be 32 this year. And the Spurs, I feel, are still at least a few years away from really being superbly competitive again. And so you could make the argument that the presence of DeMar might accelerate their development a little bit because of his passing chops and because they wouldn't have to be forced into these great offensive roles, in which case, if you can get DeMar to sign off of that, cool. But I also fully understand if he just says, you know what? No, I want to win. I never won a championship. I'm going to be 32. I don't have a whole lot of time left. I want to go elsewhere. In which case, then the Spurs and DeMar maybe can work out a sign and trade deal. Maybe he has enough affinity for them to the point where, I'll work that out with you so you can get something in return. That's fine. Or maybe it's just one of those amicable goodbyes where he leaves and everyone is like, yeah, makes sense. And then when he returns, everyone stands up and gives him a 1 minute of it, standing ovation.
Yeah, the nice return video. Yeah, I think you're totally right. It comes down to what DeMar wants for the next chapter of his career. And it's also about the fit. I mean, I know it's fair to acknowledge how effective he was. He was an all-star caliber player this year.
Yes.
But the lack of three-point shooting makes it difficult to plug him in anywhere. I've seen his name connected with Miami, and I just do not understand that at all, because you already have Jimmy Butler and Benson, Bam Adebayo, who, the spacing is going to get really clunky there.
Yeah.
I've seen him mentioned in conjunction with the Lakers. I also not quite sure I see the fit there, other than he's an LA guy or a California guy. So,
well, there's another destination. Mavs fans love him.
Do they?
Yeah.
Mavs fans could actually be interesting.
It could. They want him aggressively.
Yeah, I like that. I like that fit.
It's not bad, right?
No. So I bottom line is, I think DeMar DeRozan and the Spurs are probably parting ways this summer. But I agree with you. A sign and trade could be beneficial to him as well, because if you look at the teams projected to have cap space, the Knicks, Spurs are actually number 2 according to our friend Keith Smith. Otherwise, Dallas, could have upwards of $34 million if Josh Richardson declines his player. option. Toronto could have 25 million, but we'll see. Kyle Lowry would wipe all of that out.
Well, would he though?
Lowry? Oh, like you're thinking he would take a pay cut to get his buddy back?
Yeah. I mean, I understand it's romantic, and I understand that maybe that doesn't align at all with the financial truths of the game. Right. But like Kyle and DeMar were tight. Like they were really, really tight. Maybe there is a component here where Kyle says, you know what? That's fine. We'll figure something out. Just get DeMar in here. I'll take whatever's left. I don't know. I'm not saying it would happen, but you know what? It would be a great story. I would love it. You would love it. The city of Toronto damn sure would love it. DeMar would love it. Kyle would love it. It would be love all around, Brian. And look, this world needs more love.
Or what if they look at the Knicks with upwards of 50 million in cap space and say, we can go team up again. Let's go play with Julius Randle. Let's go play with RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley.
Nice. We have young DeRozan and old DeRozan. Nice.
All right,
I'm actually kidding. Barrett has turned into a very good shooter. That's a joke that worked last year.
Yeah. So DeRozan is not the Spurs' only notable free agent. They also have Patty Mills and Rudy Gay coming off the books. Would you just go full youth movement if you're the Spurs more, or would you try to keep one or both of those guys?
No, video tribute.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense at this point. Like, your young guys are now kind of coming into their own, especially Murray and White. And I know I always call White, or I always lump him in with the young guy core, but he's going to turn 27 in July.
He's closer to 30 than he is 20.
I know. But you also have, you got to just make minutes for between those two, Lonnie Walker, Devin Vassell. Like, that's a lot of guys on the wing already. If anything, I'd probably try to keep Patty over Rudy. I think there is like a nice 6-man role for Patty, and I know Spurs fans absolutely love him. Like, Jesse's gonna come into your mentions and slay you for daring to suggest the Spurs don't re-sign Patty Mills.
Well, you know what? Jesse can do that because I think I'm still right on that endeavor. I think that's a fair call. And I love Patty, but at the end of the day, like, the Spurs would wait too long for their young guys to actually turn into like prime players, and then they would get them the chance. Maybe the Spurs should just kind of say, you know what? We've waited a long time. We've waited enough. Our young guys are like in year 5 now. Maybe it's time to give them like full-time starting minutes. It's been a weird. I think overall, the Spurs are a little bit weird in that way, right? They don't really throw a whole lot of youngsters into the fire right away, and I don't know. When I look at that roster, I kind of go, you need to unleash them now. Like, you need to do something more here than just play in these 20-odd minutes, 20, 25. Like, it's time, man. Go get a couple of guys who plays 35.
Yeah, I forget who tweeted this, and I want to make sure I got this stat right. But it was something like Vassell was the first rookie they haven't sent to the G League in X number of years. But it was like, I think it was like 20 plus years. I don't remember. It was just like, this guy, they believe in him enough that they kept him with the full roster all year, which is really
17
impressive.
Minutes a game. We trust him.
I don't know. Speaking of the young guys, Lonnie Walker now heading into his 4th year, which, like Miles Bridges, means he's up for an extension. Would you extend him if you're the Spurs? And what do you think a fair price is for him?
I probably wouldn't.
Oh, interesting.
No, so I liked Lonnie, but the offensive efficiency or lack thereof isn't great. Mm-hmm. I still think he's the type of guy who runs very hot or very cold with nowhere in between. Mm-hmm. Well, that concerns me a little bit. So if he comes up with if he and his agent comes up with an idea that's like suitable to like my expectations, somewhere along the lines of like 12.5, 13 million, like, okay, I can sign that and run with that because I know he'll be tradable on that contract. But if he's coming in asking for like 15, 16 million a year, I'm getting really worried very quickly about that type of money.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear you there. I think it has to be a team-friendly deal for them to seriously consider it. I don't think he gets in the neighborhood. Derek White got, I think, around 16, 17 million a year.
Sounds about right.
And DeJounte got about 16 million a year.
Yeah.
I don't know that Lonnie Walker can or should expect that much, but yeah, if you take him like to a 3-year 40, 4-year 50, somewhere around there, sure, why not?
Right. I would rather pay Keldon Johnson than I would Lonnie Walker down the line.
That's fair. And the other question is, since I mentioned their cap space earlier, Mort, they're at least positioned to be one of the big spenders of free agency. So if they don't re-sign DeRozan, Patty Mills, Rudy Gay, how would you spend that cap space if you're the Spurs?
Well, I mean, it's the Spurs, and we always assume that they can fix even the weirdest cases. So is that where Andre Drummond goes? No, I'm kidding. I don't want Andre Drummond near the Spurs. So I have a name for you. And I fully recognize that I don't love this archetype of power forward.
Lowry?
No, John Collins.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was gonna say you're advocating for Lowry to be paid. I was gonna be so surprised. Yes, John Collins. Yeah.
I would like that. Yeah, I would like that. I mean, they could max him at, I don't think he's worth a max. Let me just say that outright. Right. I don't think he's a max caliber player, but they could, and they wouldn't even lose a whole lot of ground cap space wise. I mean, they could afford to max him and put the Atlanta Hawks in a very, very tough situation.
Oh no, the Hawks, if he gets a max, they're like, bye.
Yeah, I think so too. So, I mean, okay, they would then go into next year with DeJounte, Vassell, Derek White, Lonnie Walker, Keldon Johnson, Lucas Amanich, John Collins. Pirtle, of course, as well. And then they have their pick for this year, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so too. Let me just double check to make absolute sure. Yeah, they do. So then if they get a guy in there, you're gonna laugh. I'm you know where I'm going with their draft pick. Yeah, I don't think he's available there. I really don't. This guy is good, man. I mean, he just won league MVP at the age of 18 in Turkey. League MVP. I don't think he's going to be around in 11 and 12 or 12 rather, if the Spurs stick there. Mm-hmm. But if they move up, then it's someone else. But should Sengun drop down by any shot, the Spurs need to be all over it. I don't care. They need to be all over that thing immediately. Maybe Josh Giddey from Australia. That could be interesting. But so they would have a significant youth injection with their draft pick and John Collins, I feel like. And then you could really talk about a team that's trying to carve out their own role. Yeah.
And I mean, worth noting too, they could always go the cap dump or the salary dump route and use some of that cap space on a contract. If Miami, for instance, is going after Kyle Lowry and needs to clear out space, or Dallas is going after Kawhi Leonard and needs to clear out space, take on Josh Richardson if he picks up that player option, as long as it comes with a pick or something like that.
Well, have the Spurs ever done that? I'm actually asking. I'm not trying to make a joke about their lack of innovation, but have they ever done something like that? Because this is a team that is notorious for staying competitive, which I really respect, but it does lend the reason to why they won't be as innovative when it comes to rebuilding.
I mean, you can take your cap dump and still have it contribute to winning. Al Horford was productive for the Thunder this year. They just shut him down because he was in fact too productive and they needed to tank like crazy.
That's true. Al Horford could be an interesting subplot there.
Yeah, so I mean, go after someone like that. I'm not saying they should try to take on a John Wall or anything like that, but another Kevin Love.
I mean, I don't think Jesse's going to be in my mentions.
Well, Cleveland also probably still doesn't want to give up a ton to get off of him, but that's the type of guy who someone who could still be productive, but not in favor with his current team.
You realize that we've mentioned Jesse so much on this podcast, like so many people who listen to this show have no idea like who he is, and like he's just a ghost of this podcast.
I promise he exists. He is our old compatriot from B-Ball Breakdown, who is a great guy, a huge Spurs fan, and to the point where he is at times irrational about how much he loves some of his players.
Yeah, he'll definitely not be in my mentions. That's for damn sure.
No. Okay. Oh, he knows it. We all are.